you've been seeing a few videos of me walking around the neighborhoods carrying a big backpack, and I thought I would take a few minutes. I had some people ask me, what all do you have in your backpack? So I want to kind of go through everything I'm planning to take that I feel like I'll need for the next month and a half as I'll journey across Spain. So let's take a look at what we have. I, of course, have a backpack. This backpack back here is now empty. I just took everything out and spread it out over across the table, and so I'll go through and share with you everything I plan to take with me. But this is a great backpack. Most of all of the stuff that I've purchased, I got it from REI over in Colombia, and REI is a great outdoor store. They have real good quality stuff, and if you're not happy with it, they'll exchange it. They'll give you a year to try stuff out. If you don't like it, bring it back. And so if you're a member, they work with you pretty good, so it's pretty neat. But anyway, I've got my shoes that I plan to take. These are the boots. They're really like tennis shoe boots. They're vented very well, got really good tread, but they're made by Salomon. And these shoes will help as we begin our journey in St. Jean Pied de Port, and we're coming across the Pyrenees Mountains. You definitely need to have some good ankle protection and walking boots. So we'll be wearing those for a good portion of the trip. And then there's a portion of the trip in the middle called the Meseta. Basically flat land. You have a lot of wheat fields and vineyards, and when you're there, walking through that long, and my son says it's kind of like walking through Kansas. There's just nothing there, it's just flat. I have these trail running shoes here made by Hoka, and it's like walking on cloud foam. These things are really soft and easy on the feet, especially when you're going to be carrying about 22 pounds. I've got to figure out how to whittle out maybe 1 or 2 more pounds, but you don't want to have any more than 10% of your body weight on your back, and that's what they recommend. So anyway, I've got 2 pair of shoes, and I do plan to take a pair of slippers for showers and late night when we get to where we're going and want to get out of the shoes and let them kind of rest and dry out. They're called OFOs, I don't know how to pronounce it, OOFOS, but these are great cushion foam shoes. And then also, when you're walking 500 plus miles, you're going to go through some insoles. So my son told me that the one that's done it already said take you a couple pair of insoles. So I have a couple of really good pair that's got arch support to make sure I don't end up getting flat feet. So some of the other items that I'm taking, all the clothes that I'm taking, I'm going to be wearing a set of clothes, and I'm going to carry 2 sets of clothes for the most part. I am taking about 4 pair of socks and a pair that I'll be wearing over, so that's 5, right? But the reason I'm carrying 4 over, I want to wear 2 every day, so that if I have any rubbing in my shoes, I want to make sure it's the socks rubbing, not a blister forming because I'm having a rub between my shoe and my foot. So these wool socks are really good though. These are merino wool, and it's highly recommended when you're hiking that you use wool. Wool is odorless. It wicks all the moisture very well. So I've heard of people that'll wear the same wool t-shirt for many days before washing it because it's odorless and it dries very quickly. So I do plan to wash mine very regularly, so not an issue there. But I have a couple pairs of wool t-shirts that I'm taking, and I have another wool t-shirt in my scrub bag I'm getting ready to wash. We'll talk about that in a minute. I have a pair of shorts or bathing suit. I'll sleep in these, or if I wanted to go swimming, I use them for swimming. I have 2 pairs of shorts. I do plan to take a long pair of pants when I go over, but they have a zipper at the knees that you can unzip them and turn them into shorts. So, I guess they call them convertible pants, and they're from Colombia, and they're polyester as well. So everything I have is either wool or polyester, and the reason for that is it dries very quickly when you wash it, and most of the wool it's all odorless. So you won't stink after you walk all day, and then you're still going to wash your clothes and stuff, but you want to make sure you got the right clothes for the activities that you're doing. I have 3 pair of underwear I'm actually going to take, plus the one I'm wearing, But these are really good underwear. These are made by Chill Boys. Highly recommended. Performance. So, they're soft. They feel like they're not wool. They're a polyamide, but they're it's kind of like a bamboo type material. It feels really soft. Probably the softest shorts I've ever worn. Highly recommended for hiking because they wick moisture very well, and you can wash them and they'll dry very quickly. Wring them out and basically in an hour they're dry when you hang them up. I do plan to take a very light, thin fleece with me, so for those cold mornings when you get up at 6:30 and you're on the road walking before the sun comes up, it will be cool up in the mountains, when you're walking at higher elevations. So I also have this poof jacket. It's a real thin little poof jacket. I can use this to, if it's wet and raining, I can put this on as well as we're going through the mountains. And it's also a good pillow too if I wanted to use it for a pillow. So clothes wise, that's what I plan to take: wool and polyester. Again, the clothes I'm wearing over plus 2 to 3 sets of what I have here: 3 pair of underwear, 2 pair of shorts, a fleece, and a puff jacket. We talked about the shoes. Okay, the sleeping bag. So even though we're going to be staying in albergues or hostels along the way, we go from town to town to town. And before we leave, Saint Jean Pied de Port, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go get a white credential called a passport, the pilgrim's passport. And as you go to the pilgrim office there in Saint Jean Pied de Port in France, and to get your pilgrim passport, they'll stamp it and then they'll allow you to go stay at an albergue, and the rates are very reasonable because it's a pilgrimage. And so you stay overnight there, and they have beds and stuff, but people typically will take their this is a 50-degree helio sack. It's like a real thin summer sleeping bag. So I'm going to carry that. It's real light. I also have what I'll put inside of it is what's called a sleeping liner, and this is just a liner inside the sleeping bag, and it's a really nice soft material. It's Coolmax, I guess DuPont makes Coolmax, or they did. But and the neat thing about this liner, it is also treated for insects, so nothing can crawl into your bag and get into you when you have this in there because it's been treated. So, and it's safe. The other thing I'm going to be taking is this is a poncho by Euphoria. It's for outdoors. No, I'm sorry, it's not a poncho. It's a towel. This towel is about the size of a beach towel, and there's also a washcloth in there, but it's a microfiber towel basically. It doesn't do as good as a cotton towel. Cotton towels will get the water off of you. Here it feels like you're just moving the water from one point to another, but it is a good microfiber towel, and it dries very quickly after you take a shower. You dry off and you hang it up, it's dry, within the hour. So wring it out real good, hang it up, it's dry. And that's the purpose for taking it. Everything you have here, you want to be able to wash it and dry it very quickly. I do have a poncho. The poncho is big. It goes over me, but it also goes over the backpack. And also the backpack has its little poncho. So if we know it's going to rain, we'll put on the cover over top of this, and then I'll put on the poncho just to make sure that I don't get any moisture inside my bag. The other thing that I have is these nice Sea to Summit Cordura bags. These bags here are waterproof, and you can put it, like all my clothes will go in this bag. I'll put the clothes in the bag, it'll pack down real tight, then I'll put it in my Osprey backpack. So I have like 3 layers of protection as far as keeping my clothes dry and keeping everything, from getting wet. I have a couple of those bags because as you're walking the Camino, they have little, like supermarkets, little shops and stuff you can go into and you can get your fruit and bananas and apples and oranges and olives, whatever you want to take, and put it in a bag and put it in your backpack, and snack on your food as you're walking for 6 or 7 hours a day, and plus drinking plenty of fluids. That's important. Make sure you get plenty of water so you don't have a heat stroke. So okay, so we've talked about that. So we've talked about the backpacks. This is an Osprey backpack I mentioned earlier. It's Atmos AG50, and it's AG stands for anti-gravity. It's got a web on the back. It's really wild. This has got a webbed backpack. Allows airflow to come through underneath and through it. Keeps your back cool, and I've got a bunch of these carabiners on it. It's got a couple pockets that you can put stuff in, but when you strap this thing in and you load it down, it really disperses the weight. You know, like I said, 70% of the weight will be around your waist, and 30% will be dispersed between your shoulders through your mid-level back. So it really spreads it out well. And I've been walking with all this stuff right here and haven't had any issues. And I walk 5 to 6 miles is what I've been doing. When we start walking on the Camino, I'm going to have to be able to kick that up to about 12 to 15 miles, but I don't think that'll be an issue. You know, we have a lot of little, like my AirPods, so I'll clip that onto the front of my bag, and I'll have SPF 50 sunscreen so I don't get sunburned too bad. I do have a Camino Santiago book. Everywhere you're going to be going, tells you all the places that you can visit, where all the albergues are, their phone numbers, where you want to stay. Tells you everything you want to know about the trip. Gives you the history of all the little towns you're going through. I've got a little light here that I can read about it. But I also have all this, you know, on my apps. You know, so I have several Camino Way apps that I'll be able to use. I did reach out to Verizon because I'm going to keep my phone active while I'm over there. So to do that, you had to get the international rate, you know. So I'll have to do that from the time I start to the time I get back. I'll have to pay extra for it, but I feel like, you know, I've got to have access to my phone. I do plan to take a diary, keep track of notes and kind of what's going on. I have a little tripod which is holding the phone right now, but the tripod folds up real small and I can pack it as well. But we do plan when we get there to be able to share with you our journey. So what we're going to do is, you know, when we get there day one, we'll say, hey, here's where we are, you know, and show you where we're at. And then we'll, as we start walking, you know, we'll probably no more than 5 minutes, 6-minute videos each day, but show you where we are, and then maybe midway through all the special things we may see. And then at the end, when we get to the town we're walking into, hey, we made it, here's where we're at, and here's where we're staying. And then we'll get up and repeat that each day, but just to kind of let you know what's happening along the way. And so right now, this helps me practice using the phone and knowing how to use the applications to upload to YouTube and be able to create a video for you to watch. And so that's why we're practicing. Okay, so the hat, you know, we got to have a hat. That's very important. I may take a baseball cap as well, but the hat, you know, keeps the sun from giving you a real bad sunburn. I got 2 belts. The belts, for the reason I have 2 is in case one was to break, I have a backup. I have black diamond walking sticks. Now these are considered a weapon. I can't carry them on the airplane. I have to check this in my check luggage because of the tip, I guess. But they won't let you bring, you know, I couldn't pack this in my bag and take it right on to the carry-on as a carry-on. And right now I'm not sure they're gonna let me take my bag because it's, when I get it packed pretty full, it's going to be taller than their recommended 20 by 14 by 9. It's actually going to be about 30. So I'm still debating on whether or not I'm going to try to carry it on, and then when I get to the plane, let them just take it from, you know, the runway and put it underneath for me versus me having to check it. Still working through that process. Okay. So we talked about, so I've got toiletries, everything I've got in clear bags, because usually you go through the airport, they want to see all your toiletries in a clear bag. But you know, all the basics you got to have. I'm taking, you know, some ibuprofen and some medicine and extra pair of glasses in case I break mine that I'm wearing. I've got a headlamp. You know, when you get up and walk at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, you want to have a headlamp on so you don't fall as you're walking before the sun comes up. Again, soaps, supplies, and you got to also make sure you got the right plugs. You got all your cords. I have a telephone, you know, my cell phone, my AirPods, all that. You got to have plugs, and the plugs are different in Europe than they are here in the United States. So you got to have the right connectors to be able to plug into their power. Extra set of AirPods in case these are the corded ones, the ones with the cord on it. So yep. Water bottle. This is a Grail water bottle. This water bottle right here, when you're walking along the Camino, there's a lot of water spots that you can fill up your bottles with, and basically, you know, what you want to do is you want to go and get water, you know, from the sources that are in each of the towns, but you don't know what's in the water. So I'll fill this up, and then this has a carbon cartridge, and I'll be able to push this into the water and force the water into the carbon and into that inner container, and now the water's been filtrated to where there's no cryptosporidium or any viruses or parasites that may be in the water in the small town that we may be walking through. So this is called a Grail. I, again, got this at REI, but this is really good. And so any drinking water I plan to drink, it's going to be filtrated so I don't get Montezuma's revenge. But just in case I was to get sick, I am taking a little bit of Imodium D with me, just to be safe. So, I'm taking a couple little rocks. I was going to give one to my son that's going with me, and the other rock and a little piece of coal representing my ancestry, because my ancestors were from the coal mines back in Virginia, southwestern part of Virginia. So I was going to take some rocks, and there's a place called De La Cruz where there's a big cross on one of the highest points on the journey. There's a big rock mound, and people go and they leave a token. They leave a rock there to leave their past burdens behind, and you know, it's kind of like a little prayer we've got written in here that we'll read and lay the rock there and ask for, you know, forgiveness and of our sins and you know, help as we move forward. So anyway, enough about that. But so I've got that. We're going to do when we're in the albergues. I don't know if I showed you this, but this is what you hang in the albergue. You stretch this out, and basically you can hang all your clothes up after you've cleaned them. So it's kind of like a clothes hanger within where we're going to be staying. You said, well, why would you want to do that? Well, mainly because you're going to be washing your clothes. And this right here is called a scrub bag. This is one of the neatest things I've ever found. I've got some dirty clothes in here right now, some shorts and some socks. But what you do is you fill this up about halfway with water, and it's got the instructions right here on the side. Fill up, put your clothes in halfway with water. You know, put your soap in there. I got a little bar of soap, peppermint soap or almond soap. Put it in there. Take it, and then what you want to do is you want to take this and fold it up 3 or 4 or 5 times. And then you want to buckle it. Then you got water in there. You got soap, and this has got a rough area here that helps get the clothes clean. You do this for about 10 or 15 minutes, and you know, or however long you think you need to. And then you open it back up, pour the water out, fill it up with rinse water. Shake it up real good, get the soap out, dump it. Do it about 2 or 3 times on rinse water. Then you take it out, wring it out really good, and then you hang it up, and it'll dry pretty quickly. My wool shirts will dry in about 3 hours. A little longer on the socks, but that's what, you know, the cord's for. I'll be able to hang stuff up on the fly. And you do that because when you're walking, you'll walk from 6:30 in the morning until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then once you get to your albergue, you're there from like 2 or 3 all the way until you go to bed. It usually lights out at 10 o'clock, so you got a lot of time to do your, you know, take a shower, to get cleaned up. You want to wash your clothes, and then you've got some time. You want to go eat. And then you may walk around the small town you're in just to sightsee and go to the church and see their churches over there. Supposed to have beautiful churches. I'm looking forward to going through some of those. So anyway, the scrub bag is really neat, so I'm excited about that. Like I said, taking extra glasses and soap and all the stuff you need. And I think that's probably, I think I covered about everything. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. I think everything's been covered. Can't think of anything I might have missed, but all this will fit into the bag. Now what I'm going to be challenged by my sons who are going to look at all this and say, do you really need to take an extra pair of shorts, or do you need to take 3 or 4 pair of underwear? Why don't you just take 3, you know? So anyway, that's what we're going to end up going through and trying to get the weight down, because there's a saying that goes, ounces add up to pounds, and pounds add up to pain. If you have too much stuff in your bag, there's people along the journey who just taking stuff out of their bag and leaving it as they're walking. And it gets to that point, because you know, you can walk 5 or 6 miles pretty good, but you get to the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th mile, you know, that thing gets pretty heavy. So you really got to make sure that whatever you take, you really need. And there are things you can buy when you're there, so that's the other piece. Okay, I think I've covered everything. Again, I appreciate your time watching. If you have any questions, you know, hit the like button, comment back, and we'll be talking to you soon.